Hi, Mike Paetzel from WordPressMadeEasy.net, and I wanted to go through the upgrade process to 2.7 real quick and what to do if you have a problem. Now, so far I've had no trouble, so this is just precautionary, but here I have a blog that's on 2.6.5. You can see right down here it says update to 2.7. Well, the very first thing I want to do is log into cPanel and go into phpMyAdmin. So you're going to scroll down. On mine, it's right here, and click phpMyAdmin. Now, I've already opened that up, so what I'm going to do is go over here. I found the WordPress database, and you'll know what the name is depending on how you installed it. If you did a Fantastico install, it'll be WordPress 1, WRDP 1 or 2 or 3, depending how many blogs you have. Next, you want to check on export. When you do that, hit select all and make sure everything highlights. Scroll down to the bottom, save it as a file. I like to save it zipped. You can save the actual file. It's a lot easier to deal with the zipped. Click go, and it will give you a file to download. Now, I'm going to just cancel this because I've already downloaded the file on this. The next step I want to do is I want to go to FTP. And I want to pull some files that are currently there. So what I'm going to do is, let me go to here, is I'm looking at where the blog is. The file that I want is the WP content file that I've highlighted right here. I'm going to pull that whole folder over. I'm also going to pull the wp-config.php because that has all the information about your database. And I'm going to save that. If I have those two files, I'm ready to start my upgrade. At this point, I'm just going to do a standard upgrade. I will go and find the file for WordPress 2.7 where I've already downloaded it. Highlight all the files and send everything over. And tell it to overwrite everything. While that happens, I'm going to pause the video here, and we'll be right back as soon as everything's overwritten. All of the files have uploaded. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to resend up the WP content folder and overwrite everything there. Because this way, any special, I really don't need to do this with this blog because it's basic, but anything that got overwritten with the upload that I've changed, any tweaks to the different plugins, anything I've done that way with the themes will be there. So as soon as this is done, then we can run the upgrade command. Okay, everything has been uploaded. I'm going to just refresh the dashboard, which will take it. If you were doing it direct, you could just go to WP admin upgrade. Go through the upgrade process, which is very simple. Just click the upgrade and continue. And I now have 2.7. If I visit the site, it should be fine, but if it wasn't, let's say that I had trouble. Okay, now we need to fix this and go back to 2.6.5. The very first thing I'm going to do is bring up the FTP again. And I'm going to take all the files that are in there that I've put in. Now, if you have other things in the same folder with your blog, just delete the blog folder. So if you have splash pages or some other kind of pages, don't delete those unless you've backed them up. And just basically, I'm going to delete everything that's here. So that I'm going to wipe it clean. While that works, I'm going to go over to phpMyAdmin, and I'm going to do the same thing to the database because I need to clean the database out. What I'm going to do is come down here to the bottom, click Check All, which highlights everything in the database, and I'm going to tell it to drop them. It's going to say, do you really want to do that? And I'm going to say yes. And I now have an empty database. The next step is going to be, I'm going to bring back in the original database by an import. I'm going to import, I'm going to browse to where I saved that zip file when I downloaded my database. Find the database for this particular blog. Hit open. Scroll down, hit go. Okay, I hit it twice, which is why I got the error, because the database is back. Now when I go back, I have the database, but it has the old information. It does not have the 2.7, it has the 2.65. In the meantime, I have to go get version 2.65. If you go to WordPress, they have a release archive. Okay, you can reach this, and I put it on a notepad here because it's easier to read, and I left out the H. WordPress.org/download/release-archive. So I'm going to go there, and you can find all their versions. So if I was using 2.65, I'm going to download it again. Now I already have it on my blog, so I'm going to wait. Let's check and see if everything cleaned up. Yes, it did. So now I can just go find the folder that I have the 2.65, and I'm going to send everything over again and repopulate the blog. So I'll pause while that happens. Okay, all of the WordPress files are up. The only two things I have left to do before we can reinstall the blog the old way is to overwrite the WP content and add the WP config file. So I want to send those over so that I keep what I had originally, which was the reason for grabbing those files to start with. And as soon as they're done, we'll be ready to go back and put the blog back to what it was when we started. Okay, we finished those uploads. We need to go back to WP-admin, and you'll notice we're now back to 2.6.5. Everything is back to the way it was before we started. So if you've been scared that you lose everything, if you take these steps, you'll be fine with upgrading. Even if you have a problem, you can see it only takes a few minutes to put everything back to where it was, as long as you grab the right files to start with.